Say it slow right now until the truth comes out. I gave you everything, and I gave you everything. Say it slow right now, left alone, cried out. I gave you everything, and I gave you everything. I don't understand what they want from me. They take my hands, washing them in dirty water. Try to find what's right in a distant place, so far away. The silence fills my heart with empty space. But now I'm sure of where I'll go from here. And tensions rise, they push me to divert my vision. But I will break the ceiling and the walls that kept me in for all this time, and all the reasons that I cannot find. They'll wait for me to fall under that pressure. They'll wait for me to give it up. Well, I will not work against the forces I trust. Have to stay above the rushing water.
They haven't set up their positions well, allowing cats. Oh my god! Good evening, everyone. We are back with the Go series, and it's going to be a lot of amazing games. And we're following Team ID tonight, so I don't think a lot of you know what's going on with the bronze, the GOAT series. So I think it might be better if I talk you through about what's going on. Okay, so here we are. This is the bronze format, so we don't. I'm not going to talk too much about that. So pause the stream if you want to read what the bronze series tournament is about. And then we have the silver and gold. they are the same thing in terms of the format. So first day, 8-team single elimination. The top 4 will advance to second day. Second day, it will be a 4-team double elimination, and each group can have as many as 8 teams. And if the number of teams is not divisible by 8, some teams will have some groups will only have 6 or 7 teams, and that means some teams will get a bye to the next stage. Games are spread across 2 days. So today is the first day. Tomorrow will be the second day. And below you can see the number of cups that the clan can earn. And for Gold Series, you can earn as many as 11,000 cups. And for Silver Series, you can earn as many as 8,000 cups. So that's a lot of cups to take home tonight. We will begin the quarterfinals in around 11 minutes. For the stream, there is going to be a 5-minute delay. So the exact start time will be 5 minutes earlier than you're watching on the stream, so bear that in mind. This is the timeline. Credits to Winterfox for this graphic. So we are now midway through the summer season, and this schedule is too hectic. We only have 2 days of break in an otherwise 3 weeks of consecutive of playing. Consecutive days of playing, so it's too much to bear, and I hope Wargaming is going to change that for the smaller seasons, like the winter season. That needs to be changed. For the autumn season, you can spread out. I think the format could be kept, maybe with a better seeding, but I actually like this kind of format for small servers. For big servers, not as much, because pretty much a lot of clans can earn the same number of cups. Like they're like twice as small clans that can earn as many, that can earn a high number of cups. So for EU and perhaps the CIS server, previous skill tournament format is better for them. For Asia and then definitely this format, because you have the teams in the mid-table able to fight, able to play more games and decide which team is going to be on top and which team is going to be below. And for small servers like NA and also Asia server, where there are not a lot of pub teams and there are not a lot of pub teams, this will benefit them. And the mid-table clans, especially SLG from NA server, benefited a lot with this format. And for Asia server, I suppose ECG and EA did really benefit a lot from this new format as well. So this is the Team ID's team. We have Captain, Active Duty, Landy, and Percy. On your Frozen, Radioactive, Last Being LDS, and Spartan Sword, and you're seeing Frozen previously from DCGTB. I think he was leading that. DCGTB probably will be taking a break for the summer season. And my top 8 guests as follows: Feast, GV, ECG, ID, E7, RN, HRV, and EA. However, as you can see very soon, RN is going to face GB tonight, so either RN or GB has to fight really hard to get into top 8. Otherwise, HLV and E7 got a bye, so that's interesting to note. And if you don't mind me about this terrible formatting, I'm going to fix this very soon. Just give me a brief moment. Hello to everyone as well. And as you can see, this bracket will change automatically. So it's wonderful, isn't it? I finally got it programmed nicely. So remember, the bracket highlighted in red is going to be the bracket I'll be following. So hopefully everything is working properly. And yes, so we have for Group 1, we have HLV already through to tomorrow's games, and RI is going to face EA, Evil against King, and RM versus GV. So I think the mismatch is on RM versus GV, but otherwise we have Evil D and King versus King. It's going to be, I mean, a really good chance for them to get a lot of cups tonight. Evil D is fighting for that top 8 spot. The odds are putting E4D to be 1-on-1. So it's going to be an important night for them if they can win. It's a best of 5 series, so whichever team wins the first 3 matches for tonight will advance to the next round. So interesting night it is. Just have to get this and around the leaderboard. Let's look at the leaderboard. Currently in top 8, RN, ECG, Feast, GB, E4D currently in the 5th position. So they are not in the top 8 for power rating, but in the cups they are in the top 8, so they are looking nicely here. HLV E7, RI in the 8th place, and they had a difficult game tonight, and then King also in the 8th place. DTG NQ E7, as you can see, RI against EA. EA should be able to win RI. They've beaten a lot of the top 8 teams in the second bronze series tournament, so obviously they can do really well, and hopefully they do not repeat what they did in third bronze series, where they didn't show up against RN and they lost to DTG and Wild. As for the silver series, we have Der in that. BB, Der against BB in the first round, and we have UI, I think, is it Wild? I think Wild is playing too. PGMT, UI, Wild, PGMT. Especially for Wild, it's going to be really important because they're going to get some cups, more cups than some of the clans here. If NQE7 lost to ID, I think Wild can overtake NQE7. But anyway, let's see what's going to happen. And I think the room is up. It's going to be the case. Room is up, and let's get in. Alright, so it's going to be Faust. And let me just lower the blinds. Because the lighting is very, very bad. And have some of my apples. I have some apples. I'm just going to eat some apples. There we go. NQE7 versus ID. Both of these clans are looking for top 8 as well. NQE7 last time round won the Challengers tournament in the spring season. So will they be able to put a dent into ID's campaign? We'll find out soon. And here we are, looking at NQE7. They're going to be ready with one and only one. Is it the case? One and only 017 in the T110E5 alongside Legacy and Malfunction. Malfunctioning Brain 69. Okay. But I hope you are functioning in this one. So triple T110E5, interesting. Double M60Os by Pixel Rage and Tank Pro 7, and double IS4 by Taipei and Fuyu. As for ID, they're going to be taking double IS4 by Campen and On You, double Crown by Active Duty and Van Persie. We are also seeing Radioactive and the Vickers Light. They're going to take double Vickers Light. Interesting choice it will be. Landing in the T110E5, active duty in the Crown. So Spartan Sword and Radioactive, I think they are just, you know, doing rock, paper, scissors to decide who is going to play that Mega Slide. So it's going to be Radioactive winning this rock, paper, scissors game. So he's going to take a Mega Slide, and Spartan Sword, admitting defeat, will be taking the T110E5 instead. Blanks will be on the subs bench. And Faust is a map. I think it's kind of is it the right word? Ambidextrous. Well, I know ambidextrous in terms of like mouse is like it fits different types of hands. So in this context, I would say ambidextrous in this context, I say ambidextrous as in this map is good for. I mean, it requires teams to go for a balance of mediums and lights, hold down tanks, and heavily armored heavies. So ID is going to take one focus light, so that's going to be really important in getting the spots up. And NQE7 not taking any of that. So Faust can be perceptionally a big map. So getting spots, it's going to be really important on Faust, and not taking a medium or light could be a problem. Hold down tanks. Why is it good? Why is it good? Because the ramps in the north and east area, and also the southwestern corner, a lot of terrain where you can work your turret with, and you need heavily armored tanks because of the flat area on the north and the east area, and also the middle areas, central area. So now we're going to be seeing NQE7 versus ID. Who is going to win the first one? Hello, Pixel Rage. I hope to see you back in streaming soon. But I'll close the. Oh, I should have closed the poll already from your end, and from my end, it's going to be after the first match.
Let's get this show on the road.
Hello, everyone. Oh, the chat is jinxing. Hello, Overdose. How are you doing? NQE7 red team's north spawn, ID blue team south spawn. So NQE7 is positioning their tanks over to the A area for D going to be captured by ID very quickly. So it's going to be ID for cap lead, and otherwise camping over to the middle, preventing NQE7 from taking hold of B. But at the same time, NQE7 double M6 Yos. So if if Campen suddenly wants to meet his fans, his very ardent, very fervent fans, that he probably would get overwhelmed very quickly. So Campen getting into B, so that would elicit a response from NQE7, Pixel Rage, and Tank Pro. Oh, has to be really careful. Campon puts a great shot, but it's not good focus fire right here. NQE7 so far, hip-hop pushing really nicely, but it's all about ID that needs to defend right now. Lanny in some sort of trouble, but M6 Yos, double M6 Yos to push into Lanny or to tee up with Fu Yu. It can be a problem here though. It's going to be hit points with ID, and NQE7 is pushing into ID's defensive setup, but it seems to be backfiring tremendously. Pixel Rage is now dead, and Cam is going to push shots into Tank Pro, but it's a terrible bounce though. I think his fans will be very disappointed to see that. Van Persie's now dead, and it's going to be 6 versus 6 at the moment. Still hit points with Team ID, but Radioactive so far the back, but he's going to put a lot of shots in because he has shots right here. But that will allow NQE7 to focus tanks down on. He's a little bit low. He's doing 1 versus 1 against Malfunctioning Brain. I don't think he will survive for long. And Taipei is going to be really, really low. But ID so far, it's doing fine. Not the best focus fire I'm seeing here. M60 is still surviving. But he is going to go down to a Campen. And NQE7 hustling through this Spartan Sword and activity, and on you is going to receive the killing shot by Fu Yu. And that will means now going to be 4 versus 5. Malfunctioning Brain is now dead. Legacy is now going to be a one-shot on an Amarak as well. So his DPM is going to be extremely low. Legacy is now killed by Campen. And one and only is going to be next focus for ID, and Fu Yu also. They don't have to focus fire at this point. Fu Yu is now dead. One and only one is going to go down. And that means the first match goes to Team ID. Well done to Team ID, and And that means it's going to be either with a first point 1-0 it is, which is really good. As you can see right here, Anki E7, no tank doing more than 2000 damage, but ID 5 tanks doing 2000 damage. That was not a good push by Anki E7 by any means, especially the double M6EOs. A lot of potential to take out isolated tanks of ID if the M6EOs could tee up with the tanks above. I believe it's, I don't know, I think it's one of the IS4 right here. I do think it could have gone a lot differently for ID, because the M6EOs hesitated and were not able to make use of their burst damage. ID is able to defend nicely, and Anki E7's left with no breathing space. So it's now going to be 1-0 for ID. Hopefully we get more viewers soon. And let's actually update. I'll actually find this, and I'm going to update this. So please tell me it's going to work. And you guys are jinxing ID. So if Anki E7 won, I'll blame you. I'll blame you guys, girls, and gaming house here. You know, it's not my fault that ID lost. It's your fault. Come on. So blame the viewers. Blame the viewers if ID lost in the end. Anki E7 not the best start, but they would like to do a lot better this time. Pixel Rage this time is going to be in the Vegas light, and Radioactive is still in that Vegas light. So I disagree with you, Sting. That Vegas light make the difference a little bit too for Team ID. Hello, Try. ID is unjinxable, but I think Taz, you might be jinxing ID yourself. So Jason, hello there. YouTube icon, don't know why, but Fatama, A. I think you're talking about ID needs to go to A, isn't it? But Anki E7 South Spawn, Red Team, this time they won a much better game. And ID, Blue Team's North Spawn, they're going for C, I believe. Vegas Light's going to go into C very quickly, but Pixel Rage. Ooh, this is an interesting route. But I think it's backfiring. I think I tried it before with a bad shot, but you will take a lot of hits crossing. You can see ID with those tanks up about there, trying to go into A in the crossing, puts a lot of damage into Pixel Rage, and I believe this was a very, very ambitious move, an audacious move, but it didn't quite work out in the end. Pixel Rage, active duty, great splash right here. Will Pixel Rage be taken out in the end? I believe so. Pixel Rage is in deep trouble. It's the first deck down. Don't think this strategy is working for Anki E7. And let's see if the scoreline is. Yes! Yes, I got it right! Good afternoon, Naples. How are you doing? Fuyu's going to get D. And it's going to be D, isn't it? Right, it's going to be D. And we are also seeing Anki E7, one and only one. In that bush, ID leading by more than 2,000 hit points. And Anki E7, they have to find a tank to shut down. At the moment, it's not going to be the case. Anki E7 looks a little bit helpless here. Desolate. Good word for that. But they have tried their best to put shells into the last for me. But still, ID's leading by more than 2,000 hit points. But ID's now going to make a big push over to the Anki E7 spawn. And is it going to be successful for ID this time? They have a gun up, so this is going to be important. But absolutely, Anki E7 they will punish ID for hustling. And Taipei is now going to drop the reactive arm, and I think this is Lanny gets taken out very quickly, and now the focus on one and only. I think game is on. Anki E7 is definitely not out of this yet. Great job. I think the next focus might be camping for Anki E7, but one and only is now killed, and they are now looking for Fuyu next. Or is it going to be Tank Pro? Last one will be 1 versus 1 against Tank Pro, but this ID is still doing fine. They're still leading by more than 2,000 hit points here, and NQE7 still unable to make a comeback here. Camp is now dead, but last one for me is now dead. It's now 5 versus 4. It could be big for NQE7 here, but they lost the biggest light as well, so that would not be the great thing to see. But with Spartan Sword now dead, Taipei is also dead. It's 4 versus 3. ID still with a gun. ID still with a gun down, but Radioactive is traversing. Radioactive's going to put a shell into Tank Pro, but it's a bounce. Oh no! Active duty now. NQE7 is really making use of that gun they have. Kramwagen killing off Radioactive. That was a big kill right here. Hit points neck and neck now. Legacy is now dead. Fuyu is going to go down. But double Kramwagens against double Kramwagens. It's 2 versus 2 right here. Hit points still with Team ID. But anything could happen here. A kill onto Fuyu would seal the deal for ID. Hit points still with ID. But they are a gun up now. But Malfunctioning Brain is going to reload. Oh, is he going to... Okay, he's going to put shells into Van Persie. Second shell into Van Persie. And third shell also to Van Persie. And Malfunctioning Brain kills off Van Persie, but Active Duty has more hit points than Malfunctioning Brain. But it's all about whether they will get bounces here. Active Duty puts a great shot into Malfunctioning Brain. Malfunctioning Brain is waiting for his second shell to load. Or is he going to wait for the first shell to load? I don't think he has time here. Great shell to Active Duty, but Active Duty is going to finish Malfunctioning Brain. Valiant effort by NQE7 despite losing that gun very early in the game. They made it close in the end. That focus fire from NQE7 was great. And ID, ID also did really well. That push onto NQE7 spawn was a little bit hesitant. Would have been a disastrous push, if they have not killed off Pixel Ray so early in the game. And it's now going to be 2-0 for ID. It's now going to be match point to ID. 5 tanks doing more than 2,000 damage for ID, and NQE7 4 tanks doing more than 2,000 damage. NQE7, I support you guys, although if you win, then you're going to kill my stream. So, but then it's fine. I'm going to spend more time to write more code. But anyway, NQE7 now onto Blackoville, and ID as well. They can't play separate maps. Expect there will be an outcome, but it's going to be 2-0 now. Pretty equal apples, you know. At Blackoville, it's a different map from Faust. It's a lot more open, so I expect a lot more mediums and lights. I think you will be maybe a TD, but I would say 2 mediums or lights would not be a bad call. Although now with the current meta, it favors at the very most 1 medium. Here we go. Here we are. NQE7, IS4, Double Crown, a T22, triple T110E5s, ID, triple IS4, Double Crown, T110E5 and Victor's Light. So blue team ID on the south spawn, red team NQE7 on the north spawn. ID is going to position themselves over to the C area, but the NQE7 quickly onto A with Tank Pro there. interesting start for NQE7. They will have a cap lead this time. And where is Winter Fox? I don't know. Say he's going to be captured by ID, but it's going to be ID that needs to make a rotation this time, not NQE7. So LDS is in that position. Try to get some spots in. Previously, it worked really well for medium or light tank to get the spot there, but you are seeing no, not a lot of information from ID. They're now trying to have a little bit of gamble here. Oh, but malfunctioning brain needs to be really careful. It's taken double tap, but ID already it's not the best position to take fire from, because malfunctioning brain should be able to not lose so many hit points. He's losing even more hit points now. NQE7 hit points still neck and neck, but malfunctioning brain, I don't think that would be a start he wants to, and that's a track shot will stop Campen a little bit, and Campen receive a second hit. But Fuyu might be isolated now. NQE7 is a little bit panicky, but they might push on to Van Persie and LDS now. But they are hesitating. They have to make a decision as soon as possible, because ID is going to lead in hit points and cap points, and they make a move onto Van Persie and LDS. They need to get a focus fire right. They need to take out the tanks, the isolated tanks of ID. With malfunctioning brain now dead, Tank Pro is looking for Campen, I believe. But NQE7 3U is now really low. But LDS is going to be the next tank down for ID. Campen is down. Fuyu is also down. It's now 5 versus 5. Hit points are now neck and neck. And we are going to be seeing Lady also being killed. NQE7 might be coming on top. But the focus fire from both teams isn't really that good, to be honest with you. NQE7 it doesn't look really focused in this game. And, I mean, ID also, to some extent. Pixel Rage is now one shot. Hit points are now with NQE7. Van Persie is now dead. And, it's now going to be 5 versus 2. And this journey, we go to NQE7 this time. I'm glad they made a move down to B. That was the move that I will be making, because there are 2 isolated tanks right here. And, NQE7... regrouped in the end, and that was really nice to see. And Radioactive kills off Pixel Rage, and Active Duty is going to be killed by one and only, leaving Radioactive the last person standing. 1 versus 3, can't do much about this. And then Tampro is going to put a great shot into Radioactive. And Tampro now a great shot. Yes, great track shot as well. And the Ram, it is. Tampro is going to put a another great shell, and Radioactive's now down, putting it to 1-2 for NQE7. Oh, ID has to be careful. NQE7 did fine this time. Didn't have the best focus fire at the start, but in the end, they found a good way to push ID. That was the weakness I'm looking for. They have read that really well, so great job to NQE7 for that reading, but the focus fire for both teams, this is not the best. I think both teams can do better, to be honest with you. But either way, NQE7, 5 tanks doing more than 2k, and ID, 3 tanks doing more than 2k. Not a great game by ID. And now we're going into the 4th game, and potentially we might go into a tiebreaker. We are now seeing NQE7 double 50Bs, a Kran, a Thickest Light, double T1 10E5, and the malfunctioning brain in the IS4. At the same time, Campen going with triple IS4, double Kran, a Thickest Light, and a T282. Yeah, I agree with you, Stan. You can't really get, you can't really see the value of that because like doing like that if ID is not going for D, if I mean NQE7 is not going for CD, and that Vickers like got a lot of spots, but was offered very little support. So I think that strategy needs a big rethink. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to me. So now we're going to be seeing NQE7 versus ID, a second game on Black Goville. Will ID pick up that point and advance to tomorrow's games? NQE7 looking to get into top 8, and a good win against ID would be monumental to their chances, would be instrumental. A milestone achievement, we can say. Now ID is going to be on the north spawn, NQE7 is going to be on the south spawn. I'm going to sip some tea, and then we had a hi. I suddenly forgot how to exit the spectate the player mode, and now I know the hotkey for that. Pixel range is dropping the speed boost, going into C. Into the southeastern corner. Seems NQE7 is positioning everyone to southeastern corner, but it seems Captain knows what's going to happen. ID did not commit to the southeastern corner, but Lanny got a little bit okay. I think he wants to go into the rock, but he can't. The Captain also took a hit, so great start for NQE7, chipping hit points of ID really well. I mean, those tanks are in good positions, are very defensive, so taking hit points away, it's obviously a really great start for NQE7, a start that NQE7 wants. Campen might be in an awkward position, so it's going to be interesting. Will ID make a push onto malfunctioning brain? I think that could be a good call here. There's so many tanks on the southeastern corner, so I think it makes sense for ID to make a push immediately onto B and take out malfunctioning brain. One and only is now really low. It's now going to be NQE7 that needs to make a push as soon as possible. One and only is now going to be down to 553 hit points, and if NQE7 does not rush onto ID spawn, oh my goodness me, I believe ID will take it home. Campen is still a bit low. I think he needs a lot of support. LDS kills off one and only, and Campen's trying to run away, but I think he is unsuccessful in doing so. Malfunctioning brings trying to get into B, but it kind of sends a message to ID that this tank is isolated. So this is the tank that is going to be ID to be the focus, and it's going to be 5 versus 7 right now. ID is looking really strong, looking to pick up the point against NQE7. And NQE7 is trying to shut down Lanny, so NQE7 needs to kill tanks off. With Lanny now dead, Campen's now a one-shot. Legacy is now going to be the focus for ID, so great focus fight this time for ID. Great respawn. Campen is now dead, and Legacy is going to go down really quickly. Tank Pro is now one shot, and Van Persie is going to push ratio into Legacy. It's going to be the case, and it's now going to be 4 versus 5. With Tank Pro now a one shot. It's the tank that ID would like to go for, but it's going to be all over for NQE7. They will be losing 1-3. Tank Pro is dead. Van Persie has killed off a tank, and we are going to be seeing Taipei now going to be next focus for the ID, and Spartan Sword is trying to hold as long as he could, but Fuyu misses onto active duty, and it doesn't help at all. Taipei is going to go down. Great track shot. Active duty is going to kill off Taipei, and it's going to be the case. It's going to be the case. Active duty kills off Taipei. Pixel Rage kills off LDS. Now 2 versus 3. Actually, NQE7 have been looking for an unlikely comeback, but I don't think it will happen now. Fuyu is going to be reloading his 50B. Great shot into radioactive. Second shell into radioactive. Another great HE shell, and the third shell into radioactive, and it was a miss. So Fuyu is going to go down. Pixel Rage is the last person standing. ID with a cap lead as well. So if they could not kill off Pixel Rage, it's not going to be a big deal. Pixel Rage has 3 shots in his clip. So the first shot misses onto Spartan Sword. Spartan Sword is killed by Pixel Rage. Radioactive is going to kill off Pixel Rage in there. Oh, that actually shot almost did the job. Pixel Rage now killed. Pixel Rage almost carried, and it was GG for both teams. No, it's not going to be the same maps as EU, I believe. Oh my goodness me, well done. So ID they're now through to the next round, and we're going to be waiting for we're going to be waiting for around 20 something minutes. We might be able to do some analysis actually. Pixel Rage 5,000 damage, couldn't carry the team in the end. And I believe the main pro wasn't really the tanks below Legacy. I mean, ID 4 tanks doing more than 2k. Main problem, they were very unresponsive when ID made a push and down in the middle. Great call by ID. There was an isolated tank on B, and that, I think, one and only was in a position that could get taken out really quickly. If ID is able to get aggressive onto NQE7 side, and NQE7 hesitation to push onto ID spawn, I think that cost the game. And ID will be happy to know that that push down the middle worked in the end. Captain made a good call to rush down in the middle. He did some damage here, almost 2,000, so it was not too bad. Although he was the focus for NQE7. It seems NQE7 hates Captain on par, so well, that's your punishment here. So hello Sponge, how are you doing? Oh, glad that you like watching Asia server, Sponge. Pencil, let's go. Here we are, and let's get to the lounge. It ends 3-1 for ID. Let's actually look at the results for other GOAT series matches. Okay, RI lost to EA 1-3. And E4D and EA are through to next round. E4D against King. It's going to be they're still playing, so it could go into a tiebreaker now. And then we have RN versus GB. RN against GB. Who's going to win? It's going to be heading into a tiebreaker, and at the same time we are seeing E7 are automatically are through already. 9V beating ECG 3-0. So what has happened to ECG? They were looking to be really strong, I would say, in the bronze series. They've beaten some really important clans, beaten GV as well, but them losing to 9V, that is a big shock here. Feast against DTG. They lost to DTG. They lost to Feast 0-3. So, Group 2 we have results already. Let's look at the Silver Series as well. Silver Series BB versus De has qualified. They have beaten BB. By how much? 3-0. So that was another important result. Okay. So well, this was an interesting start. I mean, you can now see that. Strong. Group 2. E7 against ID, and DTG Feast will be playing against 9V, so well done to 9V. I think they will get a lot of points tonight in their power rating. Next show we will be facing V8 next. And you can create a YouTube channel. As for the Silver Series is going to be PGMT versus UI, and Wild versus De. Okay, so interesting. We'll be waiting for that result. King versus E4D, and also GV versus RN. I mean, with that, you can. With that, the leaderboard ECG at the moment was still the first place, but them losing to RN what's going to be the implication back here? We'll find out now. I'm going to actually input the results. Input the power rating. I mean input the leaderboard results here. And EA will be going through. Alright. Are out. And E4DA King. And we also have RN and GV. And QE7 we have BTG and ECG out already. E7 ID Fees 9V. Okay, so the leaderboard will look like this now. Oh, I forgot the silver teams. Der, Wild, PGMT, and UI. Fortunately, BB is out. So, looking at this, now you should be able to see the right table. Okay, ECG getting knocked out. Now it's going to put them into the 7th place. They're still in the top 8 though. But now we're also seeing Wild might overtake ECG, PGMT. I mean, looking at the top 16, DTG is now below top 16, and QE7 as well. RI will be safe in the top 16, however, King, we'll find out soon. BB will be, I think their chances are pretty slim now. Attribution, I think we can remove that from the table. But for the top 8 Asia server, currently Fees HRV E7 EA ID 9V coming through, RN and ECG. And let's actually check the results. I think it has ended already. King versus E4D. King winning E4D 3-2. So that means King will rise further up the table by a lot. And then we also have RN versus GB. RN. No, I don't think so. I don't think XR is 9B. I think they're different. GB winning RN 3-2. So well done to GB. So with that in mind, here is the updated table, updated leaderboard. Okay, with GV now through to the next round, they are now tied with Feast. In the first place, Kang is now in the top 8. So we know GV, Feast, HRV, 7 King, EA, IV, and 9V are already through to tomorrow's games, RN and ECG are going to be languishing below. I think Wild and PGMT will overtake them if they do not finish in the 4th place tomorrow. So all the best to them, and I really hope RN and ECG will, qualify in the next GOAT series. There are 3 GOAT series soon to watch. Let's actually check whether I get everything right. Voila, it's automatically updated, so it's really nice. Except below, I will change the stuff below, so I don't have to spend so much time in changing the clan logos and so on. So now I just have to change the bottom first, so it's much better. I just have to spend like a few seconds, and then it will be updated, and then we can analyze one of the matches. One of the matches. I think I will analyze NQE7 versus ID's first game where ID won of Faust. Let's do that then. Let me just update this table as well. Okay, so let me load the video up first. Hello, the Ginny Jin. I'm not Oldwin's helper. Damn you. No. I'm getting a terrible ad right here. Let me skip it.
Sell your car with Goodbye Car from.
Push that skip ad button, isn't it? Yes. You didn't hear any of that. Top 6. I hope I don't get demonetized for that. Let me find this first game. And then let's do the analysis now. There we go. Let's do it. their tanks over to the I'll
Uh,
keep-
A area of D
going to be captured by ID very quickly. So it's going to be ID with a cap lead, and otherwise Campen over to the middle, preventing NQE7 from taking hold of B. But at the same time, NQE7 double M6 Yos. So if ID, if Campen suddenly, you know, wants to meet his fans, his, you know, very ardent, very fervent fans, that he probably would get overwhelmed very quickly. So Campen getting into B, so that would elicit a response from NQE7, Pexer Rage, and Tank Pro. Oh, in this situation, NQE7 are just going in for big rush. I don't know if it's going to work, but looking at ID though, they can go there, shut it down. But at the same time, if you can look at the map right here, you have the tank's position there, should be able to put some crossfire in. So I think M6Yo might want to, you know, be a little bit careful with that. That being said, they can absolutely try to reset Campen, but that will be at some cost. But NQE7, I think they have to make a move though. They have no one on C, they have no one on D, they don't have a medium or light, so I do get why NQE7 wants to make a move very quickly, because they can't really defend. So this is why you might want to take a medium or light on fouls, because they can get you the cap lead that you desperately need. So let's continue to watch. Oh, has to be really careful. Campon puts a great shot, but it's not good focus fire right here. NQE7 so far, Hip Hop pushing really nicely, but it's all about ID that needs to defend. Oh, I think NQE7 now, I think they realized Lanny's there, and I think the tank previously on here has relocated to here. So if NQE7 decides to push at Lanny, they will have cross shots from here. Maybe this tank can provide some support. So I could see why NQE7 M6Os might hesitate a little bit. But absolutely, you can call the double eyes full. You know, go around. You can't. I mean, you will get a tank getting knocked out, but 1-for-1, it's an equal trade. So why not in this situation? So you absolutely shut Lenny down first, and maybe, if possible, I don't think Campen. I think you will have to take a long way to do so. That Focus Light's going to be a nuisance. Maybe Spartan Sword next. So I think my priority would be Lanny and then Spartan Sword, and I think Campen and that Focus Light there, leave it for later. Meanwhile, I think these tanks also needs to push the lineup so that ID will have a lot of pressure. Let's continue to watch. And right now, Lanny in some sort of trouble, but M6Yos, double M6Yos, to push into Lanny or to tee up with Fu Yu. It can be a problem here though. It's going to be hit points with ID, and NQE7 is pushing. Okay, so the Ice Force Taipei are actually going to support the R tanks, but you have a lot of tanks. I mean, 2 versus 1 would be enough. Suppose T135 is good DPM, so I would say Taipei definitely should help Fuyu, maybe to shut down Lanny together. These M6Os, I believe, should move upwards, so that NQE7 would be kind of a close bunch, I would say. ID, however, did really well to shut down M6Os. They are isolated. They have dissected NQE7 rush formation really well. So let's continue to watch. Into ID's defensive setup, but it seems to be backfiring tremendously. Pixel is now dead, and Cam is going to push shots into Tank Pro, but it's a terrible bounce though. I think his fans will be very disappointed to see that. Van Persie's now dead, and it's going to be 6 versus 6 at the moment still. I mean, despite Radioactive sitting very far behind, it's not a mistake, I would say, although that would allow NQE7 to focus tanks down more easily, but has a lot of crossfire into these tanks, but it has to be really careful though, because it's a relatively large distance, and you're talking about focusing, putting shots into the frontal armor of heavy, so radioactive might bounce a lot of shots. To be honest with you, I might go for a relocation in this situation. Maybe I will support these two heavies to shut that tank down really quickly, or maybe I'll just, you know, go around here, maybe help on you to shut down malfunctioning brain. I do think it might not be a good idea to sit there because you're just going into the frontal armor, but you can absolutely sit there once these heavies have turned around, showing the side armor, then radioactive can absolutely push shells in like butter. So let's continue to watch. Hit points with Team ID, Soft but butter, radioactive is so far the back, but he's going to put a lot of shots in because he has shots right here. But that will allow NQ7 to focus tanks down on you. He's a little bit low. He's doing 1v1 against malfunctioning brain. I don't think he will survive for long. And Taipei needs to stay. Taipei, I can't really pull back. These tanks should go in. Yes, because ID will be focusing Taipei down, so absolutely, they are conserving hit points for pretty much nothing in this situation. A is going to be really low, but ID so far, it's doing fine. Not the best focus fire I'm seeing here. M60 still surviving, but he is going to go down to a Campen. And NQE7 hustling through this Spartan Sword and active ability, and on you is going to receive the killing shot by Fu Yu, and that will means now going to do 4 versus 5. Malfunctioning brain is now dead. Legacy is now going to be a one shot on an Amarak as well, so his DPM is going to be extremely low. Legacy is now killed by Camp. So I think the main takeaway here is that NQ7, that push is not the worst idea. I think it is doable. But I think main problem is that picking the wrong targets, and then the kind of hip hop pool sharing is, or the teammates shielding low hip hop pool tanks. They haven't done that really well. So that's this kind of really minor details, as you can see, would be the difference between winning or losing a game. So I definitely the focus fire at the end worked really well for ID actually, but ID really punished NQE7 for this minor, for this lack of minor details we are seeing here. So this is a really good game by ID in the end, and NQ7 could really do a lot better next. Now we're going into the battle, into the waiting room. It's now going to be E7. We are on Alpenstadt here, and all spawn, as I always say, much better if you are playing for the cap strategy than the south spawn. You are closer to the A and C than the south spawn. So south spawn, it's more of doing a counter strat instead of getting a cap strat out. Playing for B is also a good idea, but the really good clans would have already figured out a way to stop B from getting captured. But if you're playing against pop teams potentially, you can set like double mouse onto B, get cap lead, and watch them panic. I know it sounds a little bit, you know, coy, but this is how you play tournaments. You have to be coy, you have to be sly, you have to be annoying as a clan, you know, on the EU server. But ID is going to take no medium select. They are for themselves spawn, but that could be pretty obvious to what they are doing. E7 could be looking to play a strategy, a counter strategy for them instead, and they're going to be really slow as well. ID, because they're taking double outs, triple IS4, an active ability in the T1 10E5, and Spartan Sword. Maybe not 1-3. Oh, 1-3, interesting choice here. You don't see that often because of the very low traverse speed. And E7, Sweaty Shaft. I see the good backstory. He is the founder of Feast, and originally the clan is called Shaft, but apparently because of the connotation with Shaft, you know, search up the dictionary, maybe Urban Dictionary, and it's a little bit and Sweaty Shaft, definitely. It's quite interesting. In the T125, also known as Maddox here, milkshake in the crumb bag alongside black banana soft sausage. Nuggies and fries ice for pink puffins in the T125 and cool beans. Take a slide. Alpen shots. It's gonna be interesting. A lot of terrain for the northwestern corner, so the northwestern corner might be better suited for hold down tanks or medium lights. You can get a lot of spots from there as well. On the southeastern side, it's more of a flatter terrain, so you might want to take heavily armored tanks. Hold down tanks, you can hold down in some areas on the southeastern corner, but not a lot of areas. So you can see why ID is going to be taking a lot of heavily armored tanks, and you can figure out where they're going to be going. I would be very shocked if they don't go to the C area on the southeastern corner. And here we are, E7 vs ID. I have some good apples. Alright, here we go. E7 off spawn. Will they make use of that because to get a cap and start playing into ID for being very slow? If I were that because I'll get A immediately, because I don't think ID is able to reset that quickly enough. So actually follow cool beans if I'm right on this one. At the same time, ID, as always, I think they're going to C. I think that's too obvious. Double Mouse will go near B, so I think they might be looking for a cap as well on B too. And Kubies, as I expected, will be going for A. So you know, I'm very clever, very big brain. So ID. Mouses are definitely going mid though. I don't see otherwise where they will be going. They definitely will be looking to get some luck over on B, but because A is getting spotted, Feast, no, E7 will be looking to reset B, and the double mouse can't going to be definitely, because now you can get held down tanks over to this very gentle slope and reset B really nicely. ID is going into C, but look how long it took for ID to go into a cap and in a heavy tank as well. So E7 might have almost one tank of cushion here. ID can kill a tank and they will have the cap lead again. But if E7 did a cap stop on C, ID will have to kill another tank. So it seems E7 is going to be really healthy here. They have the cap lead. They don't have the hit point pool lead though, because ID have two mouses, and E7 just need to defend. They have to figure out where ID is going to push, and ID without a medium or light, it's going to be hard for ID to figure out a way to rotate, because they would not be able to get a lot of information, and they will have to gamble. They will have to guess which side. E7 is not heavily fortified here. Pink Puff is asking Sam to run away. Who is Sam? I don't know. Our LDS taking some hits here. We're taking another hit here. ID is taking a lot of hits, trying to get a rotation, and it seems Double Mouse is going into B. Will E7 be well equipped to reset B? Seems so. Lanny taking a double tap here. Hit points now in E7 by more than 3,000, almost 3,000 hit points, and the mouse is just panicking into what to do. Nuggies and fries providing even more nuisance to the mouses. Lanny is going to go down very quickly. I think the double mouse by the doesn't seem to work really well, but Sweaty Sharp Maddox has to run away. He can do 0 damage and be really influential, but he doesn't want to do that. At least he will be putting some shells here. And it's another bounce right here. It's very sharp. Might be looking for 0 damage. Maddox always 0 damage. It's not going to be 0 damage at least. LDS has taken a hit. But Spartan Sword is going to go down as well. And that is a great move by E7. Spartan Sword is now dead. LDS is going to go down. And as I said, ID without medium or light really, it's really the reason why they lost. They don't know where to push. The heavies don't have enough view range. E7 with that Vic is like going into way, providing the count lead for E7. And they're able to position themselves nicely on B as well, taking down the bounces really well. And this is just a much better strategy by E7 overall, and ID has to do something different next game. You need to have a medium light in this situation. Kubin's killing off radioactive, that leaves last hope for me, the last person standing. Black Banana is on the drum reload, and this is really convincing win here. Last hope for me is now going to be the last person standing, and it's going to be first game to E7. Well done. This game is an esport. I mean, what you're watching is actually esports. So here we are. So you guys voted. Who is going to win? Who is going to win this one? You viewers are jinxing E7. ID, you're jinxing ID, but that was a really good start by E7. 6 tanks doing more than 2,000 damage. ID only 2 tanks doing more than 2,000 damage. I think it was not a good strategy by ID, and they have to change it up. It's not working definitely. And it means ID's going to E7 is going to win the first match. Thank you, Kuga. Hello Anya, hello Lieutenant, hello Stain again. Hello Kuga. E7 this time, it's not going to drop the Vickers line because it was so obvious that it worked really well for them last game. For this game, this time, they're from the south side, so it's a lot different. It's a much different thing. Much different story. Not sure if that Vickers line is able to secure A or C. I think he will be sweating a little bit. But they are going to be taking double crown, a mouse, triple T125s. ID insisting on not taking a medium or light. I think pretty much the same lineup. I think they dropped that WZ103 in place of an IS4. So let's see if ID is going to do better this time. But absolutely, they got outplayed in the strategies last game. Cool Beans, I think, might be going to get some spots up. And this time, ID might be looking to go for A. And Cool Beans, oh, he has to be really careful. Spot up Spartan Sword Campen. I think he has to run away. I don't think he can commit away. Meanwhile, E7 is going to do a counter strat. Cool Beans dodges a shot. Dodges another shot. He's going to run away safely, unscathed. Campen's going to A, but will E7 has to reset shots onto Campen? I think so. Sweaty Shaft misses onto Campen. Not nice indeed. Campen's going to get A. B is going to be captured by ID. This time, obviously, E7 south spawn. That state is not as good as it was on the north spawn. Active Duty taking a hit as well. ID's just pushing the lineup, applying pressure. Lanny's getting focused by a little bit. And they are really receiving the heat here. ID's going to shut down the double T110E5s really quickly. And hello, Khan. Thanks for subscribing, but Smelly Shaft is going to be the focus. Dropping relative armor and also the speed boost, trying to run away. Soft Sausage is going to go up. I'm going to take some hits, and they're going to put some great shows. Active duty is now one shot. If they can kill off active duty, they will have a great advantage, despite being in a numerical disadvantage. But already we miss everything happening in the middle side. E7 has taken out double mouses. Soft Sausage is now going to be a one shot, but they have done really well. Put active duty down to one shot. It's now 5 versus 4. Spartan Sword is now going to be really low. And I really like what E7 is doing here. They are really responsive to what ID is doing. And the T110E5s have spent a lot of time trying to hold that area alone, but with 2 tanks here. ID committed so many tanks, aren't able to kill those tanks off quickly. Allow E7 to kill the mouses more quickly here. So well done to E7 for that. However, that being said, E7, they are down by hit points though. For some odd reasons. Kaplan might be putting a shot into Black Banana, so it's actually not over for E7 yet. They haven't won this match just yet. Cool Beans, still the Vegas Light, still has lots of hit points, but Black Banana is going to go down. Great shot to Campen, but Campen will be looking to get a killing shot onto Black Banana, but Cool Beans once again bounced, and Campen kills off Black Banana here, with Nuggies and Fries now killed. It's now going to be 2 versus 3. Peg Puffins. Oh, she needs help. She needs help from Kubi's. Great shot into Radioactive. And another great shot by Pink Puffins. Pink Puffins still has a lot of hit points, but Radioactive is going to put a lot of shells here. Active Duty. Pink Puffins is deciding whether to go for Radioactive or Active Duty, but she definitely needs some support from Kubi's. Pink Puffins is going to go down. It's going to be Kubi's killing off Active Duty. Pink Puffins rotating her tank. Looking for Radioactive, but it's a miss right here. Kubi's going to kill off Radioactive. It's going to be Case, and it's going to be a 2 versus 1 last one for me. The last person standing. Can he do a 1 versus 2 here? Pink Puffins moving backwards. Kubi's moving backwards as well. It's going to be a standoff between last one for me and 2 relatively low tanks from E7. Pink Puffins look to get into A as well, but that Vickers Light can't go too far, because she is isolated now. Pink Puffins needs to get a bounce. Can she get a bounce? She gets a really important bounce right here. Great high roll from Pink Puffins onto the last one for me. Wow. Pink Puffins still holding on. Another great bounce. Oh, Pink Puffins, you didn't disappoint me. Well done to you. Double bounce. Kubi's great shot into last one for me, and last one for me is going to put it. It's not a bounce. What is last? Last one for me, definitely the nerves are getting to him. And Kubi's going to finish off last one for me, and great coordination, and more to do with Pink Puffin's really great individual skill right here, bouncing 3 shots against last one for me. Last one for me would be pretty much thinking about his life choices right here, but Pink Puffins, 5,807 damage done. Player of the match for me, and scored a kill as well. Cool Beans, not far off, 4 kills, more than 3k done. ID spent too much time killing off the double T110E5s, and they had Active Duty down to a 1 shot as well, so not a great match by ID by any means, but E7 will be very happy about the performance here. It was a close game in the end. ID at one point leading in hit points again, and also the guns. Great too, great. Thanks for asking, Anya. Now we're going to be seeing Normandy. It's a hold down map, so a lot of hold down tanks I'll be expecting. E7, 4 hold down, 5, 6 hold down tanks, and a Vickers Light. Obviously, you need a Vickers Light because it's a relatively open map. Oh, mute hammer. Ban hammer, more like ban hammer. Kuga is going to swing that. ID is going to be putting Spartan Sword in the biggest line. They're going to take a light tank this time, finally. And IS4 by Campen, double crown by Active Duty and Radioactive, triple T125s by Lanny, Van Persie and LDS. Definitely a Normandy, I would say. North side, it can take all heavies. South side, no, definitely not. That biggest line would definitely get the cap lead for that team. And yeah. But then it's kind of a double-edged sword. You don't know which you don't know the other team's lineup. So just to play safe, take medium or lights on every side. Here we go. E7. They're going to be playing Triple Crown, Triple T125, and the biggest line. I think I announced that already. So let's look at Kubin's that biggest line. If I actually updated scoreline, I did update my scoreline. Kubin's going to get a lot of spots up. Yes, LDS Camp are both spotted, but Kubin's himself is spotted. Spartan Sword and Lenny are capturing C. This time, I will have a cap lead instead of E7. So, they're trying to get B though. I don't think they are successful because it's out in the open. Milkshake gets double tapped already, triple tap even, and it's going to be perma track though. Milkshake needs to go back. It's now down to 811 hit points, and this is not good at all for E7. Don't try go B too quickly at the start. It doesn't really work. The great teams definitely will have a strategy to do that. Hamper trying going to B. It seems the B cap is not something that the teams would like to go for. Whoever goes into B will be free real estate. Free real estate in terms of damage for the team. Farming that. And at the moment the hit points still with Team ID here, but Radioactive is now isolated, but E7 are receiving a lot of pressure. ID pushing onto Milkshake. Great job by ID. They really read the situation well. Now Milkshake's down. Soft Sausage is also down. Radioactive is now going to be killed by Sweaty Shaft, I believe. Unless Metal's going to make a bounce, which he does. Kubi's going to kill Radioactive, and E7 is now under a lot of trouble. ID has got 3 caps already, and it's all about picking up the pieces for ID right now. Great focus fire would do the job. Black Banana is now a 2-shot. Nuggies and Fries is low. Pampen is now dead. And we also have Black Banana being killed by Van Persie, and Nuggies and Fries is now a 1-shot. On an Emerald Rack as well, so he cannot, he does not have a lot of DPM. Nuggies and Fries now dead. ID is now looking for Peg Puffins, the player of the match last game, will be going down next. Great shot into Lanny, but I don't think her teammates are going to support her. With Lanny now dead, LD is now dead. It's now going to be 3 versus 3. Or with Peg Puffins now dead, 2 versus 3. I think it's all over for E7 here. 4 caps for ID. Even if they cannot kill the remaining tanks, they're going to win by caps. Van Persie is going to put a shell into Cool Beans, isn't it? He's rotating his tank. It is going to be the case. Cool Beans now killed. Spartan Sword traversing, looking for a Sweaty Shaft. And ID will be winning with 1,000 cap points. Can they kill off Sweaty Shaft? No! Spartan Sword! A split second away from winning this one. And here we are. E7, 3 tanks doing more than 2k. ID, 4 tanks doing more than 2k. Too audacious. That move on to be backfired horrendously. That Crown Varga Milkshake got perma-tracked temporarily. So it was a temporary track. It makes no sense anyway. ID 4 tanks doing more than 2k, so that's good. And so we're now on to the second game on Normandy. E7 on a match point still, but ID might be looking for a comeback here. At the same time, do we have resets for other games? Let's see, 9V versus Feast. 9V versus Feast. They're still playing, so it's not going to be 3-0. King versus GV, they're still playing. It's not a 3-0 by enemies. HLV against EA, they're still playing. So at least every team is going to get at least one match win. Hi. Actually, how are you doing? E7 once again going for triple crown and triple T175, but I believe they're going to be played by different players. Cool Beans back in Vigor Slide. At the same time, ID, double IS4, double crown, double T175, and Vigor Slide. So good balance of tank types here. Pink Puffins is running out of cooldown boosters, so can we have an F in the chat, please? For that. E7, Kubi is going to get C very quickly. He's not going to get spots this time. An ID. Spartasaur is also going for D very quickly, so it seems the biggest light wants to get cap lead instead of spots. But E7, are they just going to be aggressive on the Grey Shot into landing here? But Black Banana and Music also took some hits here. Oh, Music, great shots by Hamp and the Radiative now. Music is down to 1,549 hit points. ID once again leading in hit points. Oh, they're just going straight into the double crown bargains here. Great choice by ID. They have to get a focus fire right though. Milkshake is going to be the focus for ID, and he is going to be shielded by the fuselage. Isn't it? Is that the name of this part? I have no idea about the parts of the plane, so we have Milkshake now dead, and we are going to be seeing Black Banana being the next tank down for E7, and it's going to be 5 versus 7 very, very quickly here. E7, Pink Puffin is going to be the next tank down. ID really looking solid here. It's going to be 2-2 definitely. Lanny's going to go down. Radiative is going to go down as well. Pink Puffins is not going to last for long. Lanny's now dead. It's now going to be 4 versus 5. Campen is now a one-shot, potentially. Wow. Very quick games. It is, actually. Soft Sausage is now going to be killed by LDS, and it's now 3 versus 5. Great push by ID. And E7, they try their best on the other side, but they aren't quick enough killing off tanks with Sweaty Shaft. Now one shot. It's a bounce by Van Persie. He's given a lifeline here, but I don't think he's able to put a shot in. LDS bounces onto Sweaty Shaft, and the Sweaty Shaft is going to be killed by Active Duty. That leaves 2 tanks remaining for E7 and ID. 2 really, really healthy tanks. They're looking for Nuggets and Fries. Van Persie honing off Kubins, allowing LDS and Active Duty to kill off Nuggets and Fries. But Kubins great shot into LDS, and Nuggets and Fries misses onto LDS, and he's killed. That leaves Kubins the last person standing, and he has a lot of mobility. Great track shot right here. And Active Duty was going in. Great shot into Kubins, and LDS very quick here. Reactive armor, but that turret is going to block his momentum. And LDS, great shot into Kubins, and Active Duty, can he land a shot into Kubins? Yes, it is going to be the case. And Kubins now down to a one shot. And this game goes to ID. It's now going to be 2-2 here. Well done. yes, give some respect to the teams on the Asia server. They play really well. Great call right here. That is a great move. E7 should have done. I think the other side wasn't that good, but it's more to do with ID making that push down to the middle. That is a great play right here. And they have 5 tanks doing more than 2k. E7 only 3 tanks doing more than 2k. Maybe they have to figure out. I don't think the positioning is a problem for E7. More like they didn't respond very well to ID making a push down in the middle. Here we are. Yamato Harbor. Oh yeah. The first time we have seen Yamato Harbor in Tier 10 tournaments since Ray the Death Star against Ace Ventura back in 2018. I like that to see that. But ever since, we don't see that often now. Alright, here we are. E7 going with Sep 2.0 IS4s by Sweaty Shaft, Milkshake, Black Banana, Kubi's looking surprised. Sep 2.0 IS4, are you serious? Oh my goodness me, I will jinx you, okay? I is going to win this one surely. Why 7 IS4? Are you kidding me? Why are you doing this to me? This is absolutely unacceptable. Why are you taking IS4, such a terrible Clan Wars tank? That tank should be removed from the game completely. But ID is going to be doing triple IS4, double crown, a mouse, and a T110E5. I think E7 is not going to win this one, surely. Yes. Just joking. I have a lot of love for you guys, so and gals. So ID. Radioactive. I need to get into radioactive. They're just going to push. What is going on here? E7, the tanks are now getting spotted. Soft sausage getting shot at. ID is going to get C. So they have a cap lead at least. Spartan sword and radioactive pulling backwards. Active duty holding on. Are the IS just rushing them out? Are they doing the GV stuff? But they're already taking some hits while trying to make a move here. ID, can they defend? Black Banana is looking for that mouse. They're going to focus the mouse. ID will have a lot of time. Now they need to rotate from the other side, make a push on the other side. And they should have this, I think. They are putting their shots onto Black Banana and Cool Beans as well. And E7 is looking for radioactive. It's not the focus fire. They are not really focused for E7 now. Black Banana is going to be killed by Campen. Spartan's sword is going to be taken out very quickly. And here we are, lucky surprise. Kills off Spartan's... No, he's looking the wrong way. Cool Beans is going to go for Spartan's sword. No, Spartan's sword is bouncing all shells. He is going to kill off Cool Beans instead, but Soft Sausage is going to avenge Cool Beans' death. So it's now going to be 5 versus 5. Hit points in huge favor of ID at the moment here. Nuggies and Fries is now dead. Campen is looking for Sweaty Shaft. LDS is looking for Sweaty Shaft as well. I'll tell. Okay, thank you very much, staying for that. For the clarification, Campen is now dead. Sweaty Shaft is now dead. Active Duty is now dead. 2 versus 3 right now. 3 really healthy tanks of ID. Never ever take 7 IS4 again, please. There is a good reason why I hate IS4, and this mobility is not the best. DPM is quite low, and armor is also not the best as well. I mean, it has really good armor, but E1 mobility when you need. I don't know what I'm talking about, but didn't work. ID is going to get into the final, losing the first 2 matches, winning the next 3, making it to 3-2. So well done to ID. Let's look at the results of other games.
Washing them in dirty water. Try to find what's right.
Go series. We have HLV winning against EA 3-0. Actually, there is a 3-0 result right here.
My heart's with empty space. But now
So you viewers didn't jinx ID in the end. You almost did it, so we can't blame you for that. And then we have King versus GV. Are they still playing? Oh, they're still playing, so it's definitely a tiebreaker. Feast are through to the finals. They have beaten 9V. Hello, Mangolingo. How are you doing? They are beating 9V 3-0. That's I thought there would be no 3-0s, but there are 2 3-0s. That's what I'm saying. So it's going to be ID versus Feast. And there will be a match for 3rd place for 9V and also E7. King versus GV. Who's going to win? And if we look at the table, we know ID and Feast are through. They will get more cups. And HLV will also get more cups. Wait, Kang with a reverse sweep. No, they didn't. They lost to GV 2-3. It was really close. Commiserations to Kang, though. They did really well tonight, and that will put them high up in the. Well, I don't think it will put them high up in the power rating, but at least they will get some points out of it. And the leaderboard will look like that now. Oh, that was great. That was great. Oh dear. Okay, I mean the number of cups is as follows. GV and Feast still with the same number of cups in the 1st position. HLV in the 3rd, and ID has now jumped into the top 4. E7 5th, King 6th, EA 7th, and 9V 8th. Let's look at the Silver Series as well. But as we can see, it's now going to be ID versus Feast in the finals, E7 versus 9V in the match for the 3rd place. At the same time, in Group 1, we have GB versus HLV and Kane versus EA. And you will see that very soon. Yes, that was nice. Silver Series results we as follows. Der are through to the finals, and they are going to be playing against a clan. UI, they won Wild 3-0, and UI won PGMT 3-1. So well done to UI. They're coming through, surely, and that will put them higher up in the leaderboard. And definitely, despite not getting a gold ticket, that might be a blessing in disguise, to be honest with you. So with that being said, the leaderboard will look like that now. Wild will still be below RN and ECG, but UI and Dur are now in the 12th and the 30th, are now tied in the 12th position. They can overtake RN and ECG tomorrow, and also Wild as well. If they finish higher than their 4th place. As for PGMT, they are in the top 16, but they have to be really careful though, because they are leading the 17th position by just a tiny little bit. What? No, I don't. I hate tradition. So no way am I going to do that. I will update the power rating after the stream. I have a lot to update, to be honest with you. Especially, I need to improve a little bit about the score. Okay. So we still have 15 minutes left, but we don't have a lot to. I mean, we don't have a lot of time to analyze the match. But I did really well tonight against Feast. All the best to them. And E7 versus 9B, E8 versus Kane. All the best to them as well. So what will we do? Talk about what's going on. Bronze format. I think by now you should know what is going on with that. Hopefully, I think the views would have reached to a point that it was like almost 71 at most, the number of views I'm getting. So if you haven't liked the stream already, please do. Bronze tournament. The format is going to be a round robin for in groups of 8 or fewer, depending on the number of teams. Well, it's going to be, the number is divisible by 8. Each group can have as many as 8 teams. Some will have only 6 or 7. First and second place will receive a gold series ticket, and the third to and fourth place will receive a silver series ticket. Games are spread across 2 days, and the silver and gold format the same for both silver and gold. First day 18 single elimination. Top 4 will advance to the second day. Second day it will be a 4-team double elimination. Each group can have as many as 8 teams, and the games are spread across 2 days. The number of cups you can earn will be described below. This is the schedule. Quarterfinals and semi-finals. These games have been played. We are now waiting for the finals or match for third place, which I believe match for third place is going to begin now, isn't it? Yes, it's going to begin now. So we're not going to follow. We're not going to be following that. We're going to be following ID tomorrow in the double elimination. As for the timeline, thank you to Winterfox for this amazing graphics here. But it's going to be really hectic. 7th and 14th are the only days that you could take a break. And here is the ID team. Captain of the team. Active Duty, Laddie and Percy, all you ready active roles. The last one will be LDS and Spartan Sword. And here is my top 8 guess. ECG game knocked up by 9V. This is not a result that I was expecting. RN gets knocked up by GV, but I think they will do better in the next one. So, but I'm a bit worried about ECG. That result, they have to do really well in the next GOAT series. But Feast, GB, E7, HLVE, and ID currently in the top 8, so anything can happen. So you never know. And let me just change. You can see it's already changed. I just have to change the the bottom third, which I'm going to change now. Just wait for a moment, please. Ah, no, not this. And here we are. Okay. Hey, here we go. Everything changed. Only 11 more minutes remaining. I have to go to the toilet actually. But in a hurry. I have to pee, so wait for me and I'll be back very quickly. Hello, I'm back. 4 minutes until the room is up, so let's actually bring the poll up. Feast or ID it is. Vote now. Oh, 3 votes already, so that was quick. It was really quick, so 4 more minutes until the room is up. So, actually, you know what? Let's actually look at other servers. Let's look at the EU server. How many teams have registered? And how many teams have been registered for the summer, for the silver and gold series? So, looking at gold series first. Here we are, gold series. At the moment 15, we can have as many as 20 teams. TTT, DWF, Final, Sparta, Cricket Esports, RNG, Pig, ASP, Zenith, Demo, A1M1 Jones, Loca, APA and Endgame have registered their teams here. If we look at the Silver Series, Only 5. So it's going to be Exeki, 57TH, Astra, Kakadi Sports second team, and Phoenix. So I mean, for the first team, the first team has put a lineup here. There are 21 teams that can play tonight in the Gold Series. Unported doesn't seem to be registering a team tonight here. They are probably going to be playing in the season coins, so that could be a thing. And then we have Immortals. They registered a team though. They haven't, so they can register a team later tonight. Loca, they have a team. What else? Which clan I'm missing? Turks haven't registered a team yet. BPS not yet. So Astra also not yet too. Yep. Don't think they might be registering a team here. Astra might not register a team for gold. They might register a team for silver instead. So we're just looking at 4 teams potentially: Immortals, BPS, Turks, and I missed another clan. Okay, actually, yeah, only 3 more teams because Monstercat is going somewhere else, and Immortal's second team probably not going to register a team here. Yep, Immortals going to register a team. Turks is going to register a team, and also BPS is going to register a team. Definitely, yes, they will be registered very soon. And this is the EU server. We're going to be following that later tonight. There might be only 80 teams here. Let's go into the waiting room. Here we are, ID versus Feast. We are going to be starting with Rockfield. Keep on voting if you haven't already. And let's see, we have results already for the match for 3rd place. King versus EA. They are still playing against EA. And 9V versus E7. They're still playing. So don't think any results are coming through from the match for 3rd place. But at least Feast and ID will be playing. ID going with Active Duty, the Crown Bargain, Lanny, Van Persie, and LDS double IS4, LDS in the T125 instead. Spartan Sword in the M60 and Radioactive in the Crown. On you can't play in a Skoda. He has to change into another tank. Sorry, Bifrost in the T125. F Silver in the Figure Slate as always. Hidden Surprise and Necromancer double IS4 double crown by James and Shugu. Wrist Barcode in the VK90.01p. And on you is changing up into an IS4. So Rockfield is a map that is relatively small. So you can get a cat leader, get into an advanced position, an aggressive position to defend. You can spot up the other team's rotation, and that can be very important. You will know what to do if you can spot up the rotation. You can make a response very quickly. For example, if they're going to rush onto A or C, the tanks will probably move backwards, and the other side will probably make a move to shut that rush formation down. At the same time, the B cap is going to be under a lot of scrutiny because usually A and C caps are going to be captured by either team, whichever way they're going to go. And B is a little bit out in the open, but if you can get that cap, you can grant your team a lot of cap point advantage. Also, now ID is going to be doing triple IS4, double crown, and LDS in the T175 instead. Feast is going to be doing the same setup as I announced earlier. Frozen is going to be spectating, as well as Last for Me and On You, but the maximum's been reached. Feast, C-Part is going to be spectating. Come on, keep on voting. Which team is going to win? Might have ended already, but anyway. Are you going to jinx ID or are you going to jinx Feast? We'll find out soon. So far, the viewers haven't jinxed the team. They almost jinxed ID in the last one against E7, but let's see about this. Okay, here we go. 20 seconds left to go. Rockfield, ID, Red Team, North Spawn, Feast. Blue Team, South Spawn. Spartan Sword is questioning his life decisions, and he's going to make it public to his teammates. And Spartan Sword is going to get some spots up down the middle, but at the same time, F Silver is taking that new way and getting spots up. But who will get more spots actually? Spartan Sword spot up Necromancer. How about F Silver? He will get 3 spots, 4 spots, 5 spots. Congratulations, you won the jackpot. Necromancer is now going into B. Will ID have positions to reset B though? I don't think so. They aren't even there on C yet, so Feast will be getting B easily. And F Silver is going into A, but in a very open position, so they know ID can't reset B, so F Silver can, align his tank a little bit less carefully. And he's going to get A without any trouble at all. Spartan's not got C, so that's always a good thing to see. But Necromancer in B, not getting a lot of hits. They have both A and B. It's on I that needs to make a push. Spartan's Sword gets tagged. Oh. But the double crown bargains. Feast needs to defend. ID would need to find a weakness in Feast lineup. Crown bargains might be the weakness for them. But ID is also dropping some hit points. They still have the hit point pool advantage though. But they have to be absolutely careful not to drop more hit points. Because they have a solid cap advantage. And ID would need to find a way to rotate and chip away hit points of Feast. They need a hit point pool advantage, but at the moment it's just a very slight advantage, not a lot. Necromancer is pulling backwards, and he's spotted. Radioactive might be putting a shell, he's not, no. He's not in position, but B throws, oh, Campen! Going in to get B. The Feast, are they well equipped to do that? Are they well equipped to shut down B? Feast, oh dear, what are they doing here? They're not doing anything to reset B here. ID, on the other hand, are now stacking up on B with Feast. Double Crown Bargain now closing in on C, but Risk Sparkle is going to get focused down. Don't know what Feast is doing. They have a good hit point, cap lead, but now they are looking really unresponsive at what ID is doing. Hit point still with ID though. The Feast, they are now down by more than 1,000 hit points. And that play on B was not the move that I would be expecting, but at least it caught Feast off guard. Riz Barker is now dead. Van Persie is now dead. It's now 6 versus 6. The hit points, cap points are still with Feast, but the hit points are now also with... No, it's neck and neck, actually. ID is going to take out Necromancer off really quickly now. It's now down to 1 shot, but actually LDS is dead. I think there is a fire there. Bifrost is now 1 shot. Necromancer is now dead. Bifrost needs to stay alive. It's now 4 versus 5. Don't know how Feast made a comeback here, but they're going to win by caps potentially. But A is now getting captured. Hidden Surprise is now dead. Can they stay alive? 3 tanks still alive for Feast. Killing off Camper will do the job, and they did. 980 cap points. Feast will be winning the first one by caps. Well done to Feast. Getting A in the end was important. ID almost caught Feast off guard, pushing down a bit though. But I believe they aren't able to kill off the isolated tanks of Feast quickly enough, and that allowed Feast to make a comeback to have some breathing space. Lucky for Feast not to lose that one though. They were very unresponsive in ID trying to get B. They tried to get into C. They got C in the end, but could have been huge. Could have been costly for being a bit slow. And whether to ID for pushing down a bit. It was a good call by ID, but Feast. In the end, they got 2 caps. They have a lot of bargaining power compared to ID that needs to make a rotation, but they almost lost that. So first game goes to Feast. Not ID. Here we are. ID going with a quadruple IS4, LDS in the crown, radioactive in the M60, Lanny in the mouse. They're dropping a Vicus Light. Not sure if it's going to be a good call, but Silver, as always, will be playing in the Vicus Light. Bifrost T175, triple crown by James, Necromancer and Shigemugu. Hidden Surprise in the IS4 wrist barcode in the BK90.01p. Let's get into the next round, shall we? On You is not going to be spectating this time. They're also doing some rotations with the spectators, so I love to see that. I should end the point now. Here we are. You viewers are jinxing and quadruple IS4 seriously. ID no. I think Feast is going to win this one. You're jinxing ID this time. I swear, once again. ID007 is gonna say, come on, ID. I see what you did there, but... Here we are, Feast. This time going mostly into A and B. F Silver is going to get little spots up near the A area. Is it going to be the case? I'll spot out Lanny. But also spot Activity and Van Persie as well. So I believe F Silver knows where they are going. Radioactive spotted as well. That is 4 tanks spotted. I don't think they are able to put a shell into Van Persie and so on. Lanny would not be going into B. They have eyes on that. The Feast is playing this one really defensively at the start, so they are allowing ID to get a cap lead. And ID will be getting A. Meanwhile, Bifrost is there, still very passive. Feast is playing this one really passively. ID got A, and F Silver's going into C. And I'm really hungry now. Active Duty and Camper pushing the lineup really hard, and ID has the cap lead, so they will be the one that needs to defend this time. And as for Feast, they will have to be the ones that need to make a rotation. So we are now seeing Triple Ice 4 looking to get a hidden surprise, I believe. For Activity receiving some hits here, and also ID making a play. They're getting aggressive, but Feast, they're totally prepared for that. They are defending really nicely here. James is going to pull back, but he might be the focus for ID because he's far at the front, but he pulled back nicely now. Campen might be a little bit isolated, but no, it's actually hidden surprise that is isolated, so ID might be making a comeback here. But Feast is now making a counter push, and Van Persie is going to shut down hidden surprise, and Activity is now dead. And Spartan Soul is going to be the next tank down for Feast. Feast is now leading it. It's still leading hit points, but the initial hit point pool deficit is now reduced. And it's now actually neck and neck. Lanny's now dead. And James is now dead. It's now 5 versus 5. LDS is going to go down in any second. With LDS now dead, it's now going to be 4 versus 5. Hit points is still neck and neck. ID might be able to win this, but actually Necromancer is now one shot, so Campen puts a great killing shell onto Necromancer, and it's now 4 versus 4. Hit point pool sharing still really good job by Feast. Wrist Sparkle still really healthy, but Bifrost is going to be pulling backwards. I believe Sugar and Mugen and Silver is looking for Van Persie. Bifrost is now dead, so it's now 4 versus 3. Feast still with a hit point pool advantage, but absolutely they can lose the advantage at any moment here. If they bounce a shot, actually, Wrist Sparkle kills off Radioactive. That's an important kill right here. But Wrist Sparkle is going to be killed by Van Persie. It's 3 versus 2 right now. The guns are with ID. The hit points are with Feast by a tiny little bit. And Van Persie receives a shell by F Silver. F Silver, can he get a killing shell? No, it's going to be Sugar Muga that's going to kill off Van Persie. Spartan Sword is going to do 1 versus 1 against F Silver. Sugar Muga 1 versus 1 against Camper, or maybe he's going to help Silver. And Silver is going to put a shell into Spartan Sword. It's going to run away. Spartan Sword, is he able to put a shell? Not in time. Not in time. Sugar and Muga is going to put a shell into Camper. 2 shells in this clip, and that's a killing shell right here. And Spartan Sword is looking for that killing shell, but the cap points are with Feast right now. And it's a kill from Sugar and Muga on the Spartan Sword, making it to 2-0. It was a very close game in the end, and Feast came out on top. I don't know about that, Scythe. I believe they think the M6O does not have a lot of hit points. I think the same number of hit points amount of hit points as the T110E5, potentially, or maybe even less than that. So in terms of hit points, if you take too many M6Os, then you might have a hit point disadvantage, and no one wants to be in a hit point disadvantage. And Feast, 6 tanks doing 1-2k, great coordination in between them. And ID, 4 tanks doing 1-2k, not great, not terrible. And we are now to Oasis. And match point to Feast now. Feast, blue team looking for a south spawn. ID, red team on the north spawn. I believe you guys are really jinxing ID here. F Silver as always, and the Vic's Light, triple T125s by Bifrost. Hidden Surprise and Necromancer, double crown by James and Wrist Barcode. Shugu in the T22, ID on the other hand, Spartan Sword in the Vic's Light, triple crown by Radioactive Van Persie, and LDS double T110E5s by Cabin and Lanley. Active duty in the Vic's the VK 90.01p. You would like to take you would want to take Vic's Light. Some mediums or lights because it's an open map and perceptionally large as well. A lot of areas that you can roam around, so mediums will get a lot of important spots for the team. So this is why Feast is going to take 2 mediums or lights, and now we are on to Desert Sands. Oasis Palms, I mean. Here we are, ID red team. I don't know why I'm announcing that once again. Let's follow Spartan Sword for a moment here. F Silver spotted, Spartan Sword spotted. He will be spawning up 2 tanks, but will Spartan Sword, ooh, not getting punished though. Feast trying their hand on Spartan Sword, but couldn't connect any shells. The cap points, I think, will be with ID. They are going to get A and B uncontested. Meanwhile, Feast have everything on say. A is going to be captured by Landy here. And they would know there's no one there, so they can absolutely go further into Feast spawn. Campen might be going for B, but he doesn't want to go for that because getting out of B will be very difficult. Feast will be working the crossfire to that, and Feast, they are stopped by the Kramwagens. They're holding there. If Feast is audacious enough, I think they can push the Kramwagens and shut it down. Maybe this is what they're doing right now. Great shot into radioactive necromancers leading the charge. They are going for the Kramwagens. ID needs to do something in the middle. They are capturing B. Feast needs to commit to that push though. They cannot stop midway, and they are doing that at the moment. Radioactive is now going to be under a lot of trouble. James is going to push shots into Radioactive. The hit points are now with ID, and Feast needs to do something to that. And LDS is going to be the focus for Feast. And the Kramwagens are holding as long as they could, and that can be very important. Necromancer kills off LDS, but he's also down to a one-shot here. Hit points are now with Feast, and finally, Radioactive is now down to, oh, Necromancer's dead. Van Persie kills off Necromancer, and Feast is looking for Campen. And Sushiga Mugu farming a lot from the position he is in. Maybe you can follow that. Campen's now dead, and Radioactive's now really low. He is going to go down really soon. 5 versus 6, it is. Both A and B are captured by ID, so time is running out for Feast. They have to pick up the pieces quickly. And Sugar Mugu, great shot into active duty. And active duty will be the target, the focus for Sugar Mugu. Meanwhile, Hidden Surprise is now dead. Riz Barco is going to rush into Radioactive, but takes a lot of hits for doing that. James is going to be doing something. Active duty is now dead. The double mediums and lights from Feast is doing a lot of stuff. But Riz Barco cannot kill Radioactive, sadly. And Bifrost is going to put a shot into Radioactive. It's going to be the case. That leaves 2 ID tanks remaining. And Feast will be winning this group. 3-0. Landy is killed by F Silver. And Spartan Sword is the last person standing. Well done to Feast, actually. Great call to push the Kramwagens where they split up tanks over to on A and B. Kramwagens don't have the reactive armor and their DPM is low, so absolutely great call for Feast. But they can be more decisive in that. Their idea is really good, but they almost dropped too many hit points because they didn't commit to that push. And they are somewhat in the open as well. ID, the middle side, didn't do much, didn't do a lot actually. Was very unconsolidated down the middle and allowed Feast to focus them down one by one. And Feast, 4 tanks doing more than 2k, ID, 3 tanks doing more than 2k. And that ends 3-0 for Feast. And you viewers finally jinxed the clan. So I'm going to blame you for that. And here we are. E7 versus 9V. What's the result there? It's going to be E7 versus 9V. 3-1 to E7. So well done to E7. 9V, great job to you guys tonight. Hopefully we can see you back soon in GOAT series, and at the same time GV versus HLV does look like a 3-0 victory. It is the case. GV winning HLV 3-0. On the other hand, E8 versus Kane King won against EA 3-2 in the tiebreaker. So well done to King. They played really well tonight. A bit unlucky to lose to HLV in the end, but they did well. I had to change something here. The record completed message is in the wrong position, and now should be in the right position. No, it's not in the right position still. Now it should be the right position. Alright, so at the same time we have the Silver Series, the result. Durr won against UI. Is it going to be 3-0 win for Durr? It's going to be a 3-0 win for Durr. PGMT won against Wild. So well done to PGMT. And if we look at the leaderboard, GV and Feast are tied with the same number of comps. Let's actually remove this. Here we are. GV and Feast in the first place, leading the 9th place by more than 5,000 comps now. HLV in the 3rd place, E7 4th place, King in the 5th place, ID 6th actually. To my surprise, EA in the 7th and 9V in the 8th place. Below the table we have Durr overtaking RN and DCG, closing in on the 8th place. We also have Wild in the 12th place and PGMT in the 14th. UI now in the 13th place. DTG and NQE7 will be out of the top 16 tonight, and RI will still be the top 16, but they will need to do a lot better in the next 2 Bronze Series tournaments. So this is the result, and hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow. It will be a double elimination. It will be best of 3 until the grand final, which will be a best of 5. So until then, I'll see you very soon. Bye for now. Thank you for watching.